Hello everyone, this is Jonathan with Outsmart Big Brother. Today we are going to be building a website from scratch using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It's going to be a basic one, it's going to be really fast. Let's get right to it. So let's go over here to Applications, Programming, and VS Codium. For those of you who are on some other machine like Windows or Mac or whatever, you might see something else, and there are lots of code editors out there, lots of text editors, and VS Codium is just the one that I prefer on my Debian-based machine. So let's go to this. Let's open a new file right here, new file. And now we can type in what we want. But first, let's save it and save it as an HTML file. So let me go over here, Smart Big Brother Programming, and let's name this something. So let's name it, since index.html is the most original thing ever, let's do that. Index.html. And since we have HTML here, that tells the computer what type of file to have it as. So we are going to save that. And now, when we type stuff in, it's going to interpret it as an HTML document. For those of you who do not know, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. And it basically tells your web browser, like Brave browser for example, what your website actually says. And CSS is a coding language that tells the browser what cool things to do to that information in order to make it look awesome. And so let's try going to my website. So outsmartbigbrother.com, and HTML, CSS, and JavaScript power a ton of websites out there. And the JavaScript part is basically what allows the website to actually perform tasks for you. So let's get into this right here with HTML. Coding up something very basic, but it is a start. Hey, everybody starts somewhere, and hey, maybe this is a start for you. And so let's do this. So for an HTML document, pardon me. For an HTML document, you need to first declare doctype HTML. And before doctype, you have the exclamation mark thingy, whatever right there. Anyway, that's just how it works with HTML. So then we also have to create tags. And so the first tag is HTML. And you'll notice for each opening tag, we have a closing tag. And the closing tag has this / in front of the word and within these handy dandy alligator jaws. Okay? Now in math class you might have learned those things as the greater than and less than signs respectively, but sometimes we just like to call them alligator mouths or whatever. So now that we have that, we can start coding some stuff up. So if I go to my places here, okay, so and pull up this thingy, okay, very sophisticated, calling it this thingy. Okay, so let's open with Brave web browser. Okay, so this is the website right here that we have. Even though we didn't type any information that would be presented, we are able to see it right here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually put some information here. And so let's first of all put something up here in this little tab area, okay? So let's do that. So we're going to type in a tag for title. And what should we have the name of this title be? So my awesome website. Save that. And in order to see the results, you need to make sure that you press Ctrl+S in order to save the document, and then refresh your browser. And boom, there it is. My awesome website, right there where it is supposed to be. And as we see here, opening tag for title, closing tag for title. For every opening, you need to have a closing. And for every closing, an opening, obviously. And so, now that we have that done, let's add something else. Let's add something over here. You know how websites often have this little symbol here? Kind of like with my website. It has that little brain logo, although I might change that eventually. But who cares? So this is the default thing. But for, let's see, if I go to DuckDuckGo, DuckDuckGo has its own little thing right there. Okay, the little duck head. So let's make one for ourselves here. And now, so we are going to do this. Let's go to, first of all, let's create a folder for this. And we'll call this folder images, okay? And in this images folder, we are going to put in an awesome picture. So let's head on over to Pixabay. This is one of my favorite sites for getting copyright-free content, including photos, videos, and audio stuff. And I use it a lot with these videos, which is really cool. I really love it when people license their creative works in such a way that other creators are able to use them without having to worry about somebody, basically being a copyright troll. And so what kind of thing would I want to have this symbol be? So we can have it be, let's say, an alligator. I'm thinking of alligators right now. So alligator. So now there are all these things. So 820 free images for alligator. So which one should I use for this thing? Well, maybe I can use maybe I can use that one. Okay, and so free download, Pixabay license, free for commercial use, no attribution required. And thank you, Open Clip Art Vectors, if that's who you are. Okay, free download. And since they have vector graphic available, I'm going to go ahead and download that. And so now we get to do it in images. Okay, so downloading alligator file, the alligator SVG file right now. And there it is. It pops up right there in the folder. And we're going to use this for our awesome website. So we're going to be putting in a link and type shortcut icon, if I recall it correctly, and SR, wait a minute, maybe it wants an href. There we go, href. This basically tells us where it goes to. So we created the image folder, images folder, right? Alligator, there we go. And this text editor is really awesome because it helps me to autocomplete stuff once it detects certain things. That's super convenient as a developer. So now Control S. Let's see whether it's changed. I might still have to add some more stuff in order to make that actually work, but we'll see. Yeah, it looks like I still have to do some stuff. Okay, so and let's see. Icon. What? Wait a minute. Is it going to work now? Wait a minute. Maybe it doesn't allow SVG files. Let me try adding a different type of file. So free download, then download. Okay, so let's do that. And now instead of SVG, we're gonna have it be PNG right there. So let's save that and see how it's working. What? Okay. So, shortcut icon. Oh, why didn't I see that earlier? So, rel. I feel like I should have a cheat sheet here with me as I'm doing this, but I know in real life, you know, you don't always have the cheat sheet. Okay, there we go. There's the little alligator icon. Even though you can't see it super well, I mean, yeah, it's just there to help give you a hint as to what that thing is. So now that we've done that, we are going to create, let's say, a body tag. And so body tag basically means that this is where like your information is that you want for your website. So we're going to do that. And we'll notice how when we create new tags within other tags, it nests these different things. So that helps keep things organized and so that you can look at it at a glance and identify sort of the overall structure of the web page. So now that we're doing that, we're going to do a heading. And this is basically a title, but the name title already is taken up by this tag. And so we have to have it be called H1, which is basically just, you know, like you see the title of a book, you'd see H1 as the title. So I'm going to just repeat it again. My awesome website about alligators. Okay. So now we're going to go refresh this. My awesome website about alligators. And if you've gotten this far with me, then congratulations. You have just built a basic web page using HTML. But now, let's get a little bit fancier. Let's add a paragraph to that, and then some CSS, and maybe a tiny bit of JavaScript. So, let's add some stuff, and I believe it's supposed to be right here where we're supposed to add it. Style. And inside the style things here, inside the style tags, we are able to add a different type of code called CSS. Stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and it allows us to do things like choose colors and fonts and all sorts of awesome stuff for our website. So I'm going to edit what H1 will look like for this website. So in order to do that, I will do H1 here, open curly braces, and then it'll automatically put that closing curly brace for me automatically in my editor. But if yours does not automatically do that, then you need to be very sure to put that in there manually, because you know all sorts of terrible things can happen and you get bugs, and it can just be a headache to figure out if you miss some of these small things early on and then don't really figure out what went wrong. It can really take a long time. So wait a minute, let me quickly check to make sure that works properly again. Okay, yeah. So now, H1. What color of font do I want H1 to have? So I'm going to choose color, and I can choose a color like one of these here, or I can enter a hex code. So I can choose like hex code chooser HTML, and you'll notice that I use DuckDuckGo a lot to search up stuff. And as always, if you're coding something up and you don't know how to do something, look it up. We literally live in the age of the internet, and information is, for the most part, a search or two or 15 away. So here's an HTML color picker, and we'll wait for it to load. There it is. And what color shall we have this? Let's have it be a nice greenish, okay? And maybe a little bit darker, just because it's alligators. So now that we have done that, we have different shades that we can choose, and these are the glorious hex codes that we can use in our code to tell the browser what color to show. So I'm going to pick, let's say, I'm going to pick this one, and make sure to have that little hashtag symbol there in the front. That way it's able to interpret it correctly, because there are different color systems for the screen. And my editor shows this little this nice little box to help me know what color I'm typing in there. So now that we've done that, let's take a look at the website again. Boom! Control R to refresh, and it is now green. It used to be black, but now it's green. So, what if we want to also change the background? So, we can do that as well. So, you see this body tag? Well, we can use that, we can edit that thing in order to make the background the way we want it to be. So, body. Boom. Background. Background color. And what color do we want this to be? Well, we can have it be basically anything. So, how about let's try cadet blue. Let's see how we like that. And there it is. We've changed it to cadet blue. But now I want to change the stuff here. So I'm going to change this to white or white smoke. White smoke sounds cooler. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that, even though I probably can't tell that much of a difference. So my awesome website about alligators. There we go. And so now we've used HTML a little bit, CSS a little bit, and I'm going to add a paragraph here really quick, and then we're going to get into adding a little bit of JavaScript to our site as well. So, paragraph. And then, if you're in the middle of a paragraph, or you're between some elements, and you just want to have space added between one set of words and another, then you can add the break tag, which is BR, and then you can continue where you're doing. This is a new line, and Control S, and Control R. There we go. Now, you'll notice here that the text here, the paragraph text here, is still black, which is the default color for text in HTML. So, the reason that this is black while this is white smoke is because we edited the color of only the H1 element. So, in order to make the paragraph of the same type, we can create something like this, except for P, but we can have a shortcut. So we can add P to this, and we can have a comma there, and then put P, and then Control S, and then come to this, Control R, and boom, there we go. We've got that stuff up there, so it all is nice and matching. And you can do so much more stuff with all of this stuff. This is a very, very brief overview of how to do this stuff. And now it's time for the JavaScript. So we usually place JavaScript at the very end of the HTML document and styling at the very beginning, because in case there's like a ton of calculations with JavaScript that we need done, that way the user is able to see the actual content load in front of their faces, and they're able to start scanning with their eyes before the website is completely done. And as far as user experience, that's basically the main focus of developers, because if you don't do a good job of, keeping the user's attention, then what? You go out of business, or you just are terrible at what you do. And so user experience does matter a lot. And so we're going to have JavaScript at the end here. So we are going to put it in by saying, if I can spell, script. And now we can do some cool stuff. So in this, I'm going to change what the paragraph says. So let's see. I'm going to create a new paragraph for this. So paragraph, and I'm going to say, now you see it. And then now I'm going to create a script that is able to basically change this text into something else. So in order to have the browser know which paragraph I want to change, I need to have something to identify them, you know? So I'm going to put ID. And what should I name this ID? I'm going to name it voter ID. And so we have the script. And now we can change this. So I'm going to say on click, let's see, change. And so what I'm saying here with on click change is that there's this function in JavaScript that I want to be done to this paragraph, okay? This paragraph right here. And I want it to happen when the user clicks on this thing right here, this string of text on the screen. And so I also specify the function that I want to happen when they click. And so even though I haven't created it yet, it's going to be change, and then you have these nice little open and closing parentheses there. So now we are going to create a function, and this function will be, of course, change. And let's see. And I'm pulling a blank on how to create JavaScript functions. So as always, we'll go to our trusty web browser and our trusty DuckDuckGo, our search engine. So functions in JS. JS is short for JavaScript, obviously. And so we can go look it up here, W3 Schools, and there are a ton of other resources that I could have clicked on but just did not for whatever reason. And so function and okay, so open that thing. And now I want to specify what I want it to do. So document dot, what is it that I want to do again? Oh yeah, I want to change that thing. So document dot what? Okay, yeah, now I remember. Okay, so we have this ID here, voter. And so we want to have the JavaScript interact with that particular element which has the ID of voter. So document dot get element by ID. This is our key to doing awesome stuff here. So document dot get element by ID. Wait, I want to make sure I'm doing this correctly. Okay, so, and now I'm going to type in the ID of that element. So voter, and we're going to set that as equal to, dot inner HTML. That's something else that's important. So, wait a minute, does this change if I do that? No. Let me see how it works. Okay, and if it needs to be changed, I'll change it. So document.getElement by ID voter. Is there space there? Is there supposed to be space? Okay, yeah, I thought not. Anyway, that we're going to set that as equal to. So we are going to create this new string. So now you see it. Now you don't. And let's see if it works. Let's see if this works. So Control S on the thingy there and Control R here. Now you see it. Now you don't! Boom! We just created a basic website with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And please like, share, and follow for more content like this. And best luck to all of you on your technological journeys. Thank you so much.